shit. At the end of the day, if you fuck, at the end of the day, if you can be friends, then you're gonna be able to date, right? It's not actually that hard. If you can't be friends, then you probably can't date. So if you see someone and you're like, oh, they're cool, and then you spark some conversation, and it happens to be within the range of interests that they're in, that's great. If not, then you've just whittled that. You've just made the process as effective as possible. Like all these guys that can't take rejection, bro. I've been rejected since primary school, kid. It's just the way, like, it's the way you hunt. When you go out, you don't always get a fucking kill unless you're using a rifle. LOL. Imagine hunting with rifle and not like needing to survive off it. If you're in Africa, alright, hunt with a rifle in it, but at the same time, should you be? You know, because you do devalue that blessing that you are being provided, right? Right? Men hunt, okay? Men hunt. And when you hunt, sometimes you fucking lose. This is why competitive gaming should be better, because you can learn a lot about it. If you're if you're at the top ranking of a situation, of a game, right? Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, whatever. The amount of times you're losing, if it's a head-to-head game, is around 45%. Like 55% win rate is really, really good at the top level. You know, if you're just popping off one season, you can get like 60, 66. If a meta's just going like super sweet, something that's OP and you've just discovered it, or you can exploit the fact that it's OP as much, maybe you can get to like high 60s. Maybe if the game's really bad, you can get to 70s. But, right, that still means if you are the best person at their absolute peak, you're still losing 30% of the time. That's a lot of rejection still. That's a lot of L's. Right? And especially how we think about L's more than we think about dubs, you're going to naturally, by thinking about it, you change the space-time, right? You add energy into the system, and to keep uniformity, the area grows. So just simply by focusing on something, it appears as if it is more of a big deal than it would have been before. That's not because, now if you just have linear extrapolation, you can say, oh, it wasn't bad in the past, it's getting worse, so therefore it's going to keep getting worse, and therefore my life is going downhill. But you're not paying attention to where you're placing your focus. You're placing your focus in a negative place. You're trying to keep scale, so everything becomes relativistically bigger. And then you're now comparing your new state and your new focus to your old state and your old focus, and trying to project that linearly. Like you're doing a nonsense, boys, but we all do it. Of course, I've done it. I speak about it so easily because clearly I've done it. Fuck. Alright, boys, we're switching over.
Absolutely not. In the bus, no. In a club, maybe, but no. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even know how to handle
Look at this quality.
But the idea that online dating is just for that is really not true. And I think it also discounts the idea that a lot of people would never otherwise meet without online dating. How are you going to meet someone who's completely removed from your social circle and completely removed from your little sphere of friends of friends? It's hard, especially if you don't like going to bars and clubs, which a lot of people don't like. How are you going to...
Obviously, you can just go to do a hobby. But in a globalized world, why would you not take advantage of the, information age, right? I can inform myself that my ideal mate is actually 700 miles away. And if my ideal date is 1,000 miles away, I'm still going there because it's one of like 100 people on the planet, right? So we might as well utilize the information age, of course.
To meet someone. Online dating gives you an opportunity to meet people that are completely removed from your reality.
Online dating perpetuates discrimination.
That's a factoid. What was the question? Sounded lame.
Here's what I suspect. The black woman's going to bring up the fact that she's black and that black people, and especially black women, are heavily discriminated against online.
Yep.
Statistically speaking, she's probably going to be right. This is what I suspect she's going to say. And if that's the case, then I don't say it perpetuates. It's just a reflection of the discrimination that exists in reality, period. You know, whether it's online dating or in-person dating, you know, there's that reality with black women.
You know, my bro actually just summarized that so cleanly. He's right. He's completely right. I actually don't need to watch that.
That is mega.
Oh shit, we missed
the only
something
time
good.
that I've seen Jubilee putting out information that the contestant actually.
Oh, you mean the stats?
The stats.
I see you came with your little research or whatever.
Yeah, that was good.
I see
feel
you
like
came with
you
your little
came
research.
Can you please give me like a list of feminist advocacy organizations that have engaged in any meaningful advocacy to address those issues, because there are actually none.
Okay. I know that you came with your little research or whatever.
I've had guys when I was on dating apps say the most disgusting
that triggers. It does trigger.
things to me, like, let's play dress up like you're the slave and I'm the master, or like I've never dated a black girl before, or like you're pretty for a black girl. Just microaggressions like that, and it's disgusting.
Let's play and I play master is not micro. That is mega.
So I have the exact opposite opinion of Kendra's, where I feel like online dating has put me in front of people that I wouldn't normally.
Then again, you are lighter than Kendra, and that plays a fact.
Also, attractiveness plays a factor.
Sure.
Yes, always.
I'm not here to tell you that Kendra is or isn't attractive. I find her attractive. That being said, as someone who's always thought of themselves as unattractive, online dating has not played in my favor. It just hasn't.
And this is why I'm creating an environment which actually needs to be traversed through exchange in order for the user to get information. We already know most people don't take advantage that we're in the information age. We still just kind of keep in our bubbles of whatever, and whenever it's convenient, we'll like go out and pull some random fact with no context. So let's not delude ourselves that putting some kind of filtration system in place, which more accurately represents what our ancestors had to go through, so we can actually connect to our use case and reflect the environment a bit more effectively. Let's not act like that's some kind of objective hindrance, okay? Just in case there's any resistance.
So, because of the fact that I have other qualities that made me endearing to the...
So that is to say, your brain, your body reflects the environment and says, I want this is what I want. The brain tries to hack the solution. Okay, how can we get this as effectively as possible? And that's basically where, automation comes from, right? Right, that's basically where automation comes from. Yeah, did I say that twice? Okay, excellent. So, if you have the wrong force, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get, right? You need to know what you actually want. And that, in order to know, you have to first go within yourself. So we got to that same point in the video that I always get to. Change begins with the self. Okay? And we can't have a new type of political system without having a new type of individual within society. Once we update our minds, update our spirits, the love for ourselves and our fellow people, then we have better hardware for society. Then we can actually, install Windows 10, even though it's still bad, right? We're trying to get to Windows 20 whilst, running on a Pentium. And listen, bro. If you can see, why would I look at the second most attractive person in my area, right? You might as well just look at the best looking person in your area. But in the past, you were limited by your actual physical environment. So some of that drip feeding, some of that viscous exchange in order to get to what you apparently want allows more margin for error. Because right now, you're basically beaming from one local maxima to the next. I want this, I want this, I want this. Whereas in the past, as you begin to walk up, elevation from the sea, you're trying to get on the shore, you might realize, oh, actually, I don't want that. So you change and you go somewhere else. And that's part of the progression, the 1D strand of reality. Like a comet going through the sky, the hot ball at the front is your reality, is your exceeding energy and solar force. So, having this environment of the internet allows us to better curate. Because if you just beam from one local maxima to the other, from the hottest to the most musically talented to the whatever, your body doesn't even have time to change and adapt to the system, right? You're just teleporting from one place to... Imagine how much it would mess with our minds if we could just teleport anywhere. It would be cool, but I bet there would be some things that would make us go like loopy, because you're just like, what is... You could have like, you know, you'd be in daytime all the time. It would be crazy. So what they're really touching on is this issue of having access to a system that lets your brain hack the system as fast as possible, and you're acting faster than you can know what you really want.
Opposites. Online dating wasn't the best way for me to meet people. And something that people have to acknowledge is that if you're not that hot, you're not going to have that high level of success. And it's even worse for men.
Yes.
Women have it easier on online dating apps in that regards than men do in regards to garnering attention. They did these numbers, and I'll put the graph.
But you know why that is, right? So you can't say that, oh, it's not really about sex that much. It's because guys are just hornier than women, right? On average. And that means that the demand, right? There are different types of force that the user can create. You can create physical force, emotional force, demand. And the demand for women is higher, even if there were less men. Right? It's not simply supply and demand. Like, men generate more demand for the opposite sex than women do. Right? So naturally, women are going to be on a, put in a pedestal in that sense. So naturally, it makes more sense for their strategy to be more selective. But then the question comes, what do you do with all that excess energy of man? Well, part of it, you need to just lower it. Part of it, you need to express it in physical activity. That can also work. But also, I think there needs to be some kind of like dating type expression. And don't worry, I'm also working on that.
For you guys, but like hot women killed it. Hot men did really well. Average men, or like a little bit slightly above average, did okay. Hot women, like slightly worse, did really well still. And then it goes down, and you see that like for men, it's just harder to...
It goes down the rabbit hole
because most of those women are all applying for the same top level men. And so that's where they're getting all their messages. Whereas the bottom level men are just like free for all, please look at me.
But what do you think about dating apps? So dating apps like OkCupid and The League have preferences in which you can select race too. Do you think they should be able to do that?
I don't think inherently there's a problem with an app like catering to what it thinks your preferences are, because people wouldn't use it if it didn't give them what they were like expecting to see or like wanting to see.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree. It's the app.
Yeah, nothing to say. Like, again, when someone just spits facts, we're not commenting on it. It's like someone says, Earth round. Obviously we're commenting on it because that's fake. But if they were to say Earth flat, we move on because it's just facts.
Certain thing, unless they're being like outwardly hateful.
This guy's like the anti-Ben Shapiro. Like
oh
how
my
Ben Shapiro
days.
speaks in triple time.
Yeah.
This guy speaks at like half speed.
But actually, every word actually has factual in it instead of like just emotional triggering.
If you speak faster,
I agree.
But then again, you stumble. Your way of slowing down your speech, and what he said so far, it's been I stumble and I cannot deliver the punch. So I just like, you know what? Not here, goodbye, not sure.
Online
oh yeah, what was that song? What was that song?
The can't take your computer, get the
oh, what is it?
Walk away when you are not
there. Online dating makes it harder to connect to one person.
The answer to this one is an easy yes. Well, no, it's not. I lied. The answer to this is it depends on how many options you have.
Yes.
Whether it's online.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We're just talking about like the dynamics of dating here. It's not really.
Of a therapist, they have told me that I am keeping him in these pages and preventing him from manifesting in real life. And if I want him to come to me in real life, like I can't keep him in these pages. And so I actually.
That's a lie. It's a lie. When I was in high school, I wrote everything down, and then it all came to pass. All of it, all the things that I wrote down that were my dreams.
Because Steve Harvey said it down. The scripture said, if you have not, you have not. Did you write it down? Did you?
Name it!
manifesting something you want is not a problem, but also understand that what you want or what you actually is best for you, you may not know it.
Exactly. See, that's exactly... See, when a human speaks factual, there is no alternative for the righteous to utter the same words. Amen. What was I saying before? You probably forgot because you fell asleep, bro. I was saying...
Understand that what you want or what you actually is best for you.
Right? So you're just pinning from local maxima to local maxima while your body doesn't actually have time to adjust and say, is this actually what I want? I don't know. Let's feel it out. Let's try it out. To say, oh, there's only one way to find out, it's true. But right now we live on maxima. We live on extremes. We live on the end result. Whereas you can find out by exposing yourself 0.01% and realizing it's not for me. You don't have to go all the way in. And that's what I'm working on here, baby, ladies and gentlemen. Let it be known. Oh shit, I've been on the wrong one the whole time. No way, I've been on the wrong one the whole time. Hey, sometimes it be like that.